All right, we are back on the Friday morning, guys, and I'm so excited today because again, I have two phenomenal power ladies and my co-host, a familiar face, Angeline Waymeyer, is back with us. But today, I'm so stoked to bring us a very, very accomplished entrepreneur, a mentor, and overall extraordinaire. Because Sophia Stavron, guys, she is known for developing wealth, for attracting success and breakthroughs in her life, but also the lives of so many entrepreneurs and people that she worked with. And she have a phenomenal story to share here. And we're going to be talking about one of my favorite subjects, which is wealth creation or accomplishing the life that you have been dreaming about by the power of your thinking. So it's my absolute pleasure to welcome you here to the show today. Sophia, such a pleasure to have you here. Welcome. How are you doing today?
Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor to be here, and I am feeling fabulous on a thriving Thursday.
I love it. You got that jam going. I love that. And Angeline, thank you again for co-hosting this with us. Always a pleasure to have you as my co-host in this phenomenal interview. And I want to ask you the same question. How did you start your day today?
Well, today I start out my day with priming my brain by listening to the power of the brain. And that's a beautiful message that's going to resonate with Sophia, going to share with us today.
Beautiful. And can you please share with the people watching right now, can you share with us how did you got to know Sophia and what is how did you click, right? What is it that you attracted to Sophia?
It's very interesting. Me and Sophia, we met at Kyle Wilson's Inner Circle, right? Yeah. And we meet a couple of times. And one day, Sophia said this one thing to me. She said, Angeline, you are very powerful. I'm not sure. Are you aware? I said, what is that? What does it mean? I don't know. Right. So and I said, hey, what do you do? She said, I'm a coach, right? I teach people having breakthrough and mindset, and said, okay, let me have a consultation. And since then, I've been coaching with Sophia for 2 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, my life have transformation. She always loved to use the word transformation. And now I look at myself, I said, Sophia, do you remember when I first time got started with you? Who was that look like, right? What is that Angeline it's all about? And she described to me, I can't believe that was me.
Wow, it's always, she could look into the future, probably with the energy that you are giving off, right?
She has that. It's like very gifted like a magician.
that third eye. Hey, yeah. Sophia, I would like to ask you the same thing. I'm always curious, right? Especially with guests and connections by Angeline. What was it that attracted you to Angeline when you first encountered her? Like, what was that thing that stood out to you?
Well, to put it in perspective, you have to understand my belief system. So I believe we're spiritual beings in a costume suit called human meat. So this is our physical body. It's a costume. So the way I operate in life is I'm guided by divine. I'm guided by spirit. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you have to have the backstory. That's how I run my life. The power of the unseen world. Mm-hmm. So when I'm in the inner circle and being present, I'm that vessel. I'm just a spirit being in this, beautiful costume. And so when I see her, again, I'm connecting to her. I call it my soul to soul connection. This is how I see people. I see your spirit. I see, I connect to the soul energy. And so when I first met her, I was like, oh man, just phenomenal light. Her heart is just generous, large. I could feel the beauty of her. There was a little but. The but was she's not fully connected, and most people are not. And I just knew it's just like the energy of ready for that alignment. And I just wanted to give her the message. And that's why one day I just heard that message and I just looked at her. I'm just like, you are just so powerful. And it was, sometimes I just hear the messages of what somebody needs to hear in that moment. And I want to recognize your spirit. So all I'm doing is I'm just being a mirror to you. I'm just acknowledging, I'm honoring your presence. So that's what drew me to her. It was just like, whoop, like a magnet.
Beautiful. I always love to hear the stories and how people got connected, and how the evolution of that relationship brought you to where both of you are today. Hey, Sophia, so today we're going to be talking about something very, very exciting, right? Like
Yes.
we were all, I believe that we are all meant to live the life of our dreams, right? As a child, we all have childhood dreams.
Yes.
But as adults, you tend to sometimes bury those dreams because of what society is telling you to do, what your environment is expecting you to do, what some of the people along that journey are telling you in what you should be and how you should act. But you're actually teaching the opposite. You're pulling out that inner power, unlock that inner obsession, right? So that people can actually get that breakthrough and live the life they were meant to live. Now, before we got here, Sophia, can you take us back to maybe the early days? Like, can you give us a little bit of highlight? Like, who is Sophia Stavron behind the scenes? Like, who were you in your past life that will let you up to today?
Well, I've had lots of past lives, so we'll just focus on this one.
Okay.
But, you know, I came in, I mean, I just came in very conscious. So conscious means very aware. Okay, so just imagine being a 2-year-old and very aware, not having the language to communicate, but having the language to communicate. Not having the knowingness at that age with your brain, but having the knowingness. So I was just such a curious, and my mom and dad both said like they could not control me. I was like in nature and this, and I would invent musical instruments.
Oh.
So it was like, yeah. So as my earliest memory is 2, and then my parents verified all this. So started at 2, I was like so into inventing instruments. And then I would play on the Lawrence Welk show. So every Saturday night I would play with them my new instrument. And that was me. I was very creative. I was very innovative. And that drove my parents crazy, especially my mom, because I'm messing up her kitchen and her house because I'm always inventing, you know, and then she has to clean it up because it was hard to make me clean things up at, you know, that age. So, but it lays the foundation to understand like where I came from. I came from a place where you can't put me in a box. So my whole childhood was always hearing and knowing your energy. And then I would sit there and not understand because I could see your human potential and you're not even living it. Even as a child, I would like look at people. I would think, I don't understand. Why is she seeking approval? I don't understand why, you know, it's like, why is she doing that when I can feel her energy and I can hear her? She doesn't want to do that, but she's doing it anyway. So it was a very, my childhood was, it was hard in a sort of word to use to describe it, meaning it's just a struggle because here it is, I feel this power within me and this knowingness, but then the world, the feedback is like, you're weird, that's crazy, like, and not understanding. So that's where I came from, you know, and then along the way, thankfully, you know, my parents didn't really get it, but at least my dad did something that was very spectacular that I always, you know, share this story is he did not play the I know game. He did not play the I'm right game. He played the I don't know. Let me see if I can find somebody to help you. Most humans and most people, they want to feed their ego and they want to look amazing. They want to be the best dad, the best mom, the best this, the perfect that. And I've carried this into my life. It's, you know, if you don't know, you have answers inside. And if you're not able to go into those answers, find somebody else that can tap into that.
Yeah.
And so that's the whole background of, you know, that struggle of I know things, but then I'm not getting the feedback, but then I might find the right mentor. Like in school, I did have a couple of teachers that recognized my talent. And so they helped not put me in a box. And that's what groomed me, you know, to this point. And so I always I always kind of had that feeling of, well, if I know what the answer is, I can feel it. It's so divinely guided. It's like, I said since a very young age, I have a VIP line to God. It's like, I can feel everything in the universe. So if that's right, how could I be wrong?
Wow.
Why? So and I keep on challenging it. I would say, okay, God, if I don't know this, show me something different. And then something else spectacular happens. So I would do this game to see, is this true? What I'm feeling, what I can manifest, how this energy moves, like this universe that's so invisible, but people think it's not, real. And so that was really how I was able to keep going year after year after year, because it is difficult when you know things and people are saying, well, how could you know that possibly? I'm like, oh, great question. I wish I could answer that myself.
Yeah.
So,
hey, and Sophia, sometimes it's hard, like you're saying, to express, right? To, like, if somebody asks you, how do you know? Sometimes the simplest answer is just a feeling, right? It's a feeling. I don't. But you got to a point right now that you're actually coaching, and I assume like you have a process for that. Can you explain us, how long did it take you? Because I'm sure that you didn't figure it all out when you were a child. It was just a feeling. So what was the creation process that led you to be a coach and a mentor today, where you can actually package that into a process, right? Because now you find yourself in a position where you can apply the same thing over and over again, and you get the same outcomes because you have learned how to identify it. But what did that process look for you? How did you discover to kind of package that in a way that you found, this is my direction?
So as a child, I would not let go of the fact that I know I have this connection and this knowingness. So as a child, anytime I had an opportunity to teach or speak, I would take it. I would always take it. So lead this, lead that, have a speech. I was speaking that so young. At 4th grade is when I started singing in, the church choir. I would want to lead, I would want to be a priest. Let me lead the congregation. I would like to discuss things. I'd like to teach. So it's always been like a teacher. And that happened so young. And then in high school, I was teaching violin students. So I was a violinist, and there was too many of us at one point. And so there were so many that were not, at a level that they could be. So I started teaching. They asked me. I didn't. They're just like, can you teach me? You're really good. So, it's just, I call it, I learned from feedback to just be present with who you are, like own it. Yeah. Was I first year violinist? Absolutely. I was. I owned it. Yes. I was the top, violinist at points for years. Until somebody else was better, and that's okay. They practiced more than me. I was okay with that. But that's the point. I just could see it. I could see it. So to fast forward, so imagine now, 1988, you're graduating from college. In those days, as a woman, it was a man's world. So as a woman, to get anywhere, good luck. We have to do things twice, 3 times hard. We had to do things that you don't want to do. You have to be quiet. So you can't speak a certain way, keep your mouth shut and follow the rules. And so that was corporate America back then when I was going to enter. So when it came to what am I going to do for college? I was like, okay, I don't want to be a doctor, because if I go that route, then I don't believe in everything they're teaching, because I'm a medical intuitive. So I knew thought creates disease. At that time, there was many doctors. That was not popular at all. So I was like, ooh, that's not going to work. Ooh, coaching. What coaching? There's no such thing as coaching. Coaching was for football. Okay. So that was like, oh, that's not going to work. So be intuitive. So I just did what I knew and just got through college, some of it. But then I kept on saying, how could I do this? What could I do? So I had the opportunity. I opened up a daycare at age 25, and I called it Sophia's Creative Learning Center. And I thought, this is where I could at least impact the parents and the children. I could serve them. I could show them that they have a voice and not to be labeled. So I started my journey as a child care director. And mine was the best. And, all the other competitors, they would come and sneak in. I already knew what they were doing to see what I was doing, because my retention rate for my employees was the highest. And if you know anything about industries, restaurant is like the highest turnover. You can't retain because everybody's turning over. And then daycare at that time was the second highest, because it's like low pay and you have to deal with human beings that are children, and so mine was the highest retention rate because it's all about the leader. If I can't clean a toilet, I wouldn't make you do it. So if I can't do it, I'm not going to make you do it. So I would be able to do everything and teach everything, but at the same time, I created it that I'm serving you, that you're in my house. So it was like, that's how I was able to practice this. And then after that, about 3 years after, then I was like, it wasn't fulfilling, and other life events were happening. I'm like, I need to expand. So then what I did was, again, how is it that people don't see me as crazy, that I can really tune into your energy? I can really take you to places that, nobody else has, and surely you haven't. So I thought, oh, here's an easy track. And again, a mentor had me do this. I got a license as an esthetician. That's skincare.
Okay.
So I got a license as an esthetician to start the business so I could be one-on-one with people in an intimate setting. And if you know anything about that, most people are looking to beautify themselves on the outside. So my goal was, I'm going to awaken your genius, your inner genius. I'm going to work on your inner world. So that's how I really where it all started. And that literally, the seed and the blossoming started March 2000. So 20 years ago is when I made that decision of, I don't know. Again, remember, I don't know how to do this, but oh well, I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to do it, and we'll see what happens. And that's what I did. That was 20 years ago. And then before that was, other personal thing, so unprofessionally, on that unprofessional side, not getting paid, I would be consulting and just doing readings for people. And then, so at 25 was the daycare. And then, 3 years after that, it's like, okay, here we go.
I find it a couple of things that I took away from this timeline, right? Your journey. Number one, how beautifully was that your dad instilled the I don't know, but I can find out, or I can find somebody else that can teach me what I need to know. So I found that very beautiful, because it seems that you took that philosophy into everything you've done, right? Because you mentioned a bunch of ventures that you tried at a very young age. And of course, at that time, you haven't figured it all out, right? You're young, you're experimental. So the I don't know attitude, but I can figure it out. I think that's absolutely powerful. And especially if you're an entrepreneur today, that is the attitude that you have to bring into every situation, because you can't have it all figured out. You need to be willing to rely on yourself to be able to be resourceful and creative.
May I add to that real quick?
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur, when you have that energy of, I don't know, but I will find you the answer, you guess what's going to happen? You're going to attract clients. It's called trust. Because if you play the I'm right, I know everything entrepreneur, no one wants to partner with you. You're going to attract the wrong partners, and you're not going to attract your clientele, the right clients. It's not going to happen. And so that's how you build trust immediately with clients, is when you're vulnerable and you say, I don't know, but I'm going to get you the answer.
Very powerful.
That made me feel good, because I have lots of things I don't know.
Well, yeah, everybody does. So why pretend? It's an energy. It's like this kind of rough energy, like, ooh, like I know, and you're feeling like, does she really know?
Yeah.
But when you say, I don't know, it's like very opening. Now it's an inviting. I'm being vulnerable. You want to be vulnerable with me? And it's just like, go on the journey with me. It's a very inviting. It's a flow. Now you're connecting.
Yeah.
Because before we thought as a leader, we need to know everything. So Sophia opened my mind, Angeline, you don't need to know it all. It's okay. So I felt, wow, feels so good to be myself.
And the second thing that I took away, and this is actually a question for Angeline. One of the things that I just heard Sophia mention is the power of thought, right? You said you talked a little bit about the medical side, right? That your thinking can actually create certain negative emotions and potentially has an impact on your body. And I'm not sure if you have heard of a gentleman called Glenn Hall, who was on the show last week. And he actually said the same thing. He has a practice, holistic healing, and we talked about the power of thought. So, Angeline, what is it in your life that you have experienced with the power of your thinking, right? Being intentional, or even not knowing where this journey is going to take you, but you just had a clear mental picture.
And I'm still working on that, Rob and Sophia, right? Like this morning, I listened to the Bob Proctor's, right? They talk about the power of mind. I'm like, it's fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like he said, as long as you can think of, you can achieve. I'm like, wow, I didn't realize that I have so much power in here. So that's what I have been working on with Sophia, because we all have the little voice, right? Sometimes I get confused. Why, on one hand, I want to have this desire, I want to conquer the world. On the other hand, I have this little voice saying that, who are you? You're not good enough. Eh? That's why I got so confused. That's why I come to Sophia. Say, Sophia, help me out. I thought our mind is powerful, but why we have that little noise inside? Maybe Sophia can address that.
Oh, yes. And that's the thing that I help my clients is teaching them. I always say I'm not that special. I just started really young, and I practiced honing into my higher intuition. So you have the inner critic, which is the ego, which is a good tool too, but you have to master the ego. You have to be a master of it. Because it's like prime real estate in your brain, and you don't want to give away your prime real estate. Think of it. You don't want somebody hoarding. That's what you allow in. You allow the inner critic to hoard your mind. So to clear it is to practice going to that other level, to your higher self, and listening to that connection to your higher self, which is giving you, like, every time it's like an alignment. It like locks you into your truth. So it's a practice. And in order to practice that, there's willingness of getting still. So there's a willingness of, okay, I'm going to set times in my day. And that's why, breathing work and certain types of breathing techniques that I teach, is because when you start getting connected to your breath, you can use that as your visual as well, and the feeling to get connected to your intuition that's going to lead you exactly to where you want to go and give you answers. So it really is a choice. You can choose to hear it and then focus on it. So it's a choice. So think of it. You want to choose, or do you want to have a willingness to surrender, and not surrender as in a weakness, like I give up. Mm-hmm. It's like just surrender and just surrender and like embrace. Okay, I'm going to bring this in. Oh, here's the inner critic. Don't push it out. Don't push it out. All the thoughts that are going by, I always call it like colored balloon. Just like, oh, okay, look at that. Next. And see, you're just surrendering. You're just melting in. And then to move through the emotion, you're like, okay, but what do I really want to feel? And then just like move you through. And that helps just kind of like get you in that state. So it's like you have the movement through energy instead of having everything control you.
Yeah.
It's a practice. And that's just a really short version, quickie.
Yeah.
It is a practice, Rob.
This is like the tip of the iceberg, as they say. There's a lot to it.
Yeah.
To give your viewers, a sense so they understand, how it is, like you choose your thoughts too. You choose where to pay attention. It's like a movie. So I call it like your life is a movie. So if you choose to see certain characters, that's on you. Take responsibility. If you don't like the characters, then choose to change them.
Beautiful. And Sophia, We have maybe some of the listeners today on the call. They may be thinking about starting a journey, right? As an entrepreneur, they may be thinking of creating something on the side that can be really proud of, but they struggle with the concept of like, do I give up on what is providing me comfort and security, while in the same time I cannot see a clear outcome yet in my entrepreneurial endeavor. So what would you say to the people that they cannot see, they don't have the vision yet of that end goal, right? Of that physical thing, because people tend to be very visual. What would you say to people that are thinking about it, but they haven't taken a clear decision? They didn't choose yet because they cannot see the outcome.
So the first thing I want to say is, number one, that they are not alone. Okay. Most people go through this. So that's number one. You're not alone. Okay. So it's like, okay, great. Second thing is, think of it, a decision as when you decide, it's like you're cutting away from everything else. It's just like, once you decide, everything else just drops. So even make a decision of, I'm going to do this. I just don't know what it's going to look like. So that's a decision. So even the first step is just decide you're just going to do it without seeing the clarity. Because when you do that, all these things will drop out. That you're literally cutting the fat, kind of, so to speak, off a piece of meat. It's like I just want the meat of it. Okay. And then the next step is, it's okay to hold on to the comfort, but change it in the energy of saying, okay, just for right now, I'm going to use this to my advantage. I have something stable. I have some money coming in. It's stable. It's again, you can say predictable, but as you can see with COVID, that's an illusion. But at least let's play with your illusion that it makes you feel stable, and just say, okay, but it is temporary. So I'm going to grow this over here. And in the process of growing, this is what I keep on telling people: fail really quickly. Yeah. So whatever you're going to do, if you don't know what it's going to look like, just do it and fail at it in 2 weeks instead of dragging it out for 2 years. Mm. Because the faster you fail at something, the faster you're going to learn what's going to work, and you're going to start learning your own strengths. So some people, if they don't really spend time to figure out their strengths and weaknesses, you might realize, oh my gosh, I'm really not good at this, or I really don't love this. I thought I loved it, but it was just a temporary thought. But it's okay to just do something and do it quickly, because people think failure is a mistake. But here's the thing. When you honor your journey, that's when the magic happens. See, so when you take action, the universe rewards. So it's like when you take action, and let's say you fail really quickly, it's like the next thing, the better thing comes to your awareness. And it's like, oh, maybe I needed to do that. And then you go, oh, you know what? I'm going to do that, whatever that is. So I always say, do something. And if you want to hang on to, something that's stable, that's fine. But money is a tool. It's energy. So you got to look at it as a tool, not as something like it's like, I have to have this job. Look at it as like, okay, let me fix my budget a little bit. Maybe I'll tweak it so I can start saving more because I haven't. Or maybe I'll say, this is what I did. While all my friends were going out and dropping loads of money on cocktails and, fine dining, I didn't do that. So a lot of social things I didn't participate in because I knew I wanted to launch something. And so I knew, well, if I spend all this money on all this, fine dining and cocktails and this and that, I'm not going to get to my goal quite, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a long road. Does that make sense? So
absolutely. And it sounds to me, Sophia, that, and you mentioned like money is energy, and Angeline and I, we talk about this all the time in the trainings that we run. Money is energy, and money always circulates, right? And it circulates and it flows back to the people that have a love for attracting money. So what it sounds to me, when you said money is a tool, instead of thinking about, I need money to survive, right? Your fight or flight response. I need money to survive, to pay the bills. it's actually you're repulsing, you're repulsing opportunity and money to come to you. But when you leverage us as a tool, like you said, look, I have two choices. I can either go and do what the rest of my friends are doing and spend that money on fine dining and purchasing consumer goods. I can actually stack that money, save up, because I know I have an opportunity here that will take me much further in life. So instead of just trying to hoard that money because that's what you need to live, you're using it more strategically as a tool. Do I understand that correctly?
Yes. And I call it stacking. When I want to do something really powerful, I stack. So for somebody that maybe cannot afford like a fine dining type of experience, this is where I say, yes, you can afford it. Take yourself out to a dinner, fine dine, go all the way out, dress nicely, get into because the secret that people don't realize, it's the feeling. Okay. So go to that nice restaurant, have a nice dinner and stack it up. Get into the feeling, use it as an experience, start seeing yourself, watch everybody in the room and just start seeing if you can connect to their energy. And what does that person do? What is that person saying? You know, how do I really feel right now? I am enjoying this food. Stay in the moment, stay in the feeling. Oh my gosh, I'm enjoying this, you know, whatever, salmon, steak, whatever your heart's desire, and just get into feelings. Because when you start connecting to feelings, you start seeing, I have value. See, that's what people miss. They don't think they're good enough. See, so when you start saying, I have value, I am deserving. And the love vibration is the highest frequency and it's the most powerful one in the brain. So when you said powerful brain, the top emotion is falling in love. So that's why I teach, you know, my ancient Greek, you know, philotimo secret. We can get to that in a second, but it's when you are honoring this moment and you're falling in love, fall in love with what you're doing, fall in love with this moment of going to that fine dining. You stack it up with seeing, how does this translate to my business? What customer do I want to fall in love with? You know, what customer do I want to serve? I've got this value. I have this knowing. I am competent in something and I want to teach it. I want to serve. That's living your light. So you start bringing all this forward. That's what I'm saying. I'm just stacking it. One simple experience that you think you can't afford, but when you do it, that is your own coaching session right there. That is like a 1 to 2 hour session for yourself that gets you connected to start realizing that you're coming from a place of lack. That's a mindset issue. You've got a mindset issue. You think you lack things. You think you're not good enough. So, and that's also a value issue. You don't value yourself. You don't love yourself. And so just a simple thing of going and again, I'm just giving you an experience so you can feel it. When you start getting into that feeling, now you're going to start using that feeling and you're going to inject it into your new business. And now you can inject it into those moments where you feel scared and the thoughts are going to come up because you've wired your brain a certain way. So this is a habit. So it's like waking up with the habit of, you know what, I felt amazing when I was in that restaurant. So you bring back that feeling and then you use it for the next day. And as soon as you feel like you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, you use it for the next day.
So good.
Good. It's so powerful. Oh my God.
And I'm curious, Angeline. So we know your story, and you came to the US 11 years ago from a different cultural upbringing, right? And you came to the US with a certain expectation, and you had, you know, quite a challenging journey yourself that led you up to this moment. So how did you apply the emotions, the feeling, right? Because at the beginning, certainly not everything worked in your favor, right? We all had to go through the hardship and the challenges because those were the learning lessons that we had to endure. But how did you apply getting into an abundant state, getting into a place where you felt, I don't have all the answers yet, and the outcome is certainly not what I'm looking for or what I'm content with, but I'm going to pursue anyway. Like, how did you apply the feelings and emotions?
Bro, you made me cry by asking this question. Because you mentioned about 10 years ago, right? So you really trigger something inside me. This tear is not a tear of sadness. It's a tear actually of gratitude. It's a tear of gratitude for Sophia, because she know the past 10 years, the culture, right? It's not easy. Especially raising by a mother, it's always criticizing you. So in the past 10 years, I was very driven by success. I was driven because I want to prove to my mother that I'm good enough, I'm worthy. But I never know that was the program was running behind me. That's why I'm very grateful, especially when Sophia's here. And because of her, she helped me see what I didn't see. She helped me see who I really are, right? What do I meant to do? Who I am? What is my light? Why do I do what I do? Not because I want to prove to somebody, because that's alignment. That's in line with who I am. Like I'm that light. So I'm very grateful for Sophia, right? It's only 30 minutes. You have learned so much. Imagine that I have learned with her, right, for so long. And Sophia, you are really part of my journey. Really.
Thank you. And you're mine.
Yeah, it's a transformation, journey to get to see who I am, right? And make that choice. Either you live in a self-criticism, not good enough, the suffering state, or I choose to live my life being abundant and step into my true power. You remember, you always taught me,
Yes.
step into my true power and use my gift to serve other people and connect with my feeling. Because before, I don't have feeling. I only have thinking.
Yes. Yeah.
We grew up like very think analytical thinking. We don't have feelings. We just like being programmed. I feel like a robot before.
Rob, can I honor her journey for a moment?
Absolutely, Sophia. Go ahead.
Okay, so to honor her journey, and this will also help others. I also come from immigrants. So I'm Greek and Greek. Okay, maybe ancient Greek, I think. Anyway, the long story short is cultures, I see it all the time. They instill certain things. Some things are beautiful and some things are just to get by with whatever they needed at that moment. And then the generation passes it on. So it's typical for your culture. It's typical for other cultures for moms to be maybe overbearing, controlling, criticizing. This is typical. So so with Angeline, and that's why I want to honor your journey. It's not that that there's something wrong with your mother. People want to blame or fault. It's just you honor your mother. You honor somebody else's journey. And then you just say, well, that's your journey. But right now, this is what I'm going to embrace in my life. And that's the stepping into your power. That's when you are honoring your journey, your light, you're uniquely blueprinted. That's living your light. And so when you start living from that place, that intuition, that's the higher self, that kicks in. So when you live from living your light, that's how you become more intuitive. That's how you become more guided and aligned. And so that inner critic literally starts calming down.
Yeah.
Angeline can tell you. So then all of a sudden, all these voices, they start, shoot, you become the master now. So they start quieting down because you're in alignment now with your purpose. And that's why I say you embrace it. So you embrace that was your upbringing. You embrace that was your mother's journey and you honor it. And so when you honor it, it takes you from a place of shame that you used to be in, shame.
Yeah.
And honoring is the opposite of shame. So that's why when I teach and that's my Philotimo teachings and the movement is when I get people to get into that place, this is where magic happens. This is where you can go forward with your business and you will start attracting. Literally, it will happen. Everything happens magically because you decided I'm no longer going to feel shame of not knowing or I haven't done this before. Guess what? No one's done anything before. It's a first for everybody. So get over it. You don't know. Okay. I don't care how many books you read, who your mentor is. At the end of the day, everybody started with, I don't know. And they did something to get the experience. Everybody. So Yeah, so that's why I say, and thank you for sharing that. But I just want to honor your journey, because this is something that's, when you step into it, I mean, that's part of you fulfilling your destiny.
Yeah.
So I want to shout out, to you about that and say thank you for showing up.
Thank you. And it takes courage. It does take
yes,
courage.
It does. That's what I'm saying. I want to honor that. Yes.
And I think this was an excellent demonstration of tapping into the emotion, into the feeling, right? Because when you tap into your feelings for the first time, you're taking away all the layers of your true core being. And that's when the emotion comes out. And when you can tap into that core, right? That's like Sophia called us so beautifully, tapping into your light. And that's, in my opinion, and Sophia, I would love to hear your perspective on that. But once you reach that point where you have this feeling that you feel, I no longer have to pretend to be in a certain way or to act in a certain way, but you can serve from a place that it truly feels like it's a core energy, and it comes from a place of love, right? When you truly feel exposed and vulnerable, I feel that that's the moment, because a lot of people ask me this, like, how do you know that you're living your purpose? And to me, that's what it is. That's the moment where you say, this is it, because that's what my heart feels. What would you say?
Yes. I would say absolutely yes, 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 first of all. And just to give you some perspective of what somebody feels like, my last client last night, it was a late night one. Literally, we had a session about vulnerability and stepping into her light. And her exact words were, because I could see the shift in her energy, as we were, and that's what I do. I'm not here to have a client an hour. Like, that's not what I do. Like, I'm here for transformation. So that's why she's my client. So last night, in that moment of just knowing and whoop, just stepping into like what her truth is, she had an overwhelming sense of sadness. And I said, yes, sadness, because you're going to release that pretend person. You took off your dress that you were showing off to everybody. It doesn't work anymore. And so it literally was a sadness, but then she had this, ooh, I'm going to have to grieve about this. I'm like, yes, because I told her that you're going to have to go through a grieving process. But all of a sudden she felt this like, whoa, she felt lighter. She felt like really powerful. She started seeing things. And I went into detail, like try to pull things out. I was like, let's go. I'm going to have you say this, speak it out loud, because speaking, becoming, that's how it works. You speak it, you become it. So it's like all of a sudden, it's like this person that's dying to get out, whoop, came in. And that's where the power is. When you are connected to love, not fear. Fear can serve you, but when you're connected to love and you always, are working on achieving, this connection with love, that's your divine, self.
Wow. Yeah.
Beautiful. Most powerful emotion. Yeah,
absolutely. And I feel it right here, right? It's Sophia, I have a couple of questions from the audience for both you and Angeline as they come up. Would it be okay if we address some of these incoming questions as we're going through this interview? So we get a question for you, Sophia, and the question is, what would you advise someone who wants to step into their true power, but they're not exactly sure how to do that, right? They have not gone through the journey yet. So they're just thinking about it. What would be the first step that you would advise somebody to take to step or to go through that discovery process of getting to that place where they have defined their true power? What is the first step for someone that is thinking about doing that?
The first step, and usually the step that no one does, is the exercise that I would give whoever is asking the question is make a list of every statement that you say all the time. What do you believe? And just make a whole list. Just go into a stream of consciousness and start writing out statements. And then with each statement of who you are or what you believe in, or just statements that you say all day, it just compile this list. And then next to it, over every single one, now you have to take ownership. Is that you that said that? Do you believe that, or did somebody else? So if your mother told you that you should be a doctor and that's why you're in school right now, oh, so you're not on purpose then. You're on somebody else's purpose. So the discovery and the first step is really, you got to take responsibility of your energy, your thoughts, your choices in your life. That's like the first ultimate step, because when you do that, you literally start unlocking. The puzzle pieces come together. You will start, it's like the unlocking of who you are starts coming out. Because when you are doing things for others, that's why you can't see your purpose.
Yeah.
The path is there. I always say there's no finding a path. The path arrives. The decision is, do you want to hop on it? You know?
So it sounds that it starts with awareness. And what you're saying is, by writing it down, you can become aware of those beliefs, whether they serve you or they don't. But would you say that the first step is to become aware in what you believe?
Yes, because without awareness, you don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
So that's why people say, like, I don't know what my path is. Because here's the thing. Remember, I'm not a fan of I don't know. So, you know, if you're going to use I don't know, but I'm going to find the answer, that's okay. But when you sit with I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I'm not a fan of that. It's I don't know, but I'm going to find the answer. Yeah. That's the action. And so when you do this exercise and you say, you know what, I'm not sure of my purpose. Let me see who I am really, and bring that awareness in of whose is it? Like, why are you doing the things that you're doing? It comes from somewhere.
Yeah.
Just like Angeline said, that's why it was I wanted to honor her, because that's how you do this. If you have somebody telling you that you should always have black hair instead of brown hair, well, okay, you're not being true. You're not on purpose. So the more you start eliminating the things that are not on your purpose, that's when I see the path is going to start arriving.
Yes.
It's going to show up.
Yes. Yeah.
That's just you connecting to you. And again, it's a simple step, but it's a grand step. This is a grand discovery that will happen, that will get you on. Yeah, it will.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I think that's like you said, I love how you formulated that. It's a simple thing to do, but it has a grand impact on someone's life, because it might be the first time in your life that you're actually stepping into the reality of things, that you're actually, I call it peeling the layer of the onion, right? You take all the layers away and you strap yourself down to the core. So that could be the first moment in someone's life that will actually create a lot of clarity. So thank you for tapping into that. And I know that our audience, they love this, and I hope that this is helpful for people listening in right now. And with that said, we have a question for Angeline, and so we have Nelson here. Nelson is actually saying and acknowledging, based on what he's hearing here, that limiting beliefs are extremely dangerous, right? But he's wondering, what do you do, Angeline, to keep focus on the positivity, on the bright side, right? You already talked about an attitude of gratitude that you're feeling today. So besides everything that you're going through, how do you keep focusing on the positive side of things in your life?
Like, I want to go back to Sophia, right? Like certain area, like inner work, this type of thing. I don't know how to do it. I know I want to get better. I don't know how to do it. I know I had limiting belief. I don't know how to do it. So I went to like Tony Robbins, right? All these places, and try to change myself. But every time emotional high after the event, it go back to the old self again. So I would say having a mentor, like somebody like Sophia in your toolbox, is so important and so helpful, because right now I still in a journey about recognize those limiting belief and then change into empowering belief, right? And I'm still working in myself right now, Rob. I'm not saying I'm perfect. Angeline still got work to do, a lot to do here.
Yeah.
Aren't
We all, right? Aren't
like,
we all?
yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
At least I'm willing. I have the desire. I want to change, and I seek out. I attract, right? I attract people who can help me to take me to the next level.
And do you think it's also a belief, Angeline, that this is a journey that you take with you until the moment that our bodies, right, reach the end of time, when our time is up? Do you think that it's a belief that this is an ongoing journey? This never ends?
Oh yeah, Sophia say, as long as you are human, I can always find something that you need to be working on. Remember, Sophia, you say that?
I say it all the time.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, I really think that really hits the nail on the head there. It comes from the belief of always knowing that there's always something that you can grow and learn from, that you're on this journey of personal evolution. And if you can keep that belief, right, back to Nelson's question, how do you focus on exercising positivity in your life? I think it's that belief that there's always something that you haven't learned, that the life that we go through, it's meant to teach us a lesson, to get to your true self.
Yes.
So Sophia, I have another question. I think this is a more complex one, and I'm super curious. Yeah, I know.
I like it already.
We're taking it up a notch, and we love to hear your perspective on this. But Christiane is actually asking if you could recommend a routine or like a set of or maybe some tools that you can advise that someone that is currently in the journey of entrepreneurship, they're building their business and they're seeking greatness, right? They're seeking that maximum potential to max out that results that they're hoping to accomplish with their business. What is a routine or like some tools that you recommend, or maybe even some of the exercises that you do in your personal life that unlock that momentum, right? That allows your spirit, the body, and the mind to align to achieve greatness?
Ooh, I love this. This is juicy. Okay, so first of all, when you start out, what I see with most people, and I also fell victim to it. So it's like, turn yourself from victor to victim to victor now. Okay, don't be a victim of like, I don't know, and oh my gosh, this is so hard. The victor is this. Don't look on the outside and think everybody else has answers. That's number one. Start with the belief of, I have all the answers within. And so what I teach people is this: honor the solution that you may not see at the moment. That is your new mantra as an entrepreneur.
Can we repeat that?
Yes. I honor the solution that I may not see at the moment. When you keep on saying that, I honor the solution that I may not see at the moment, what happens is you don't go into a place of, I'm not good enough, or I should ask my 5 friends what to do, because entrepreneurs do that. Oh my gosh, I want a greatness. I want this. I want to do this. And so you start looking outside. I call it the octopus effect. You start putting your hands out, and what can I get from this person? What can I get for this? Who knows this? Who knows that? And you're just like, woo, octopus. So the first thing that you need to learn is bring the hands in, column of divine light. Okay. The divine intelligence is here. I am light. I am love. I am powerful. So that's divine. So just imagine you're getting hooked up to that divine column of light. I am love, divine, pure love, divine intelligence. Okay. That's the, I am light. I am powerful. It doesn't mean that you're overpowering someone. I am powerful is I am of right action. I already have the unique blueprint. So when you get into that divine space, that is a spiritual practice, which is missing in business, but that's the magic to business. So when you go from that octopus into your divine self, I promise, don't believe me, try it out, but I promise you're going to have a different result, because you are now tapping into that higher vibration. And when you're into that higher vibration, you can start seeing, and this is also science. So I call it science, and spirituality equals, wisdom. So the science of the brain is When you're operating from that higher space and you're honoring, you're actually unlocking, and there's a lot of research to show this. So when you're in this, place, literally your mind can start opening up. You start seeing things. So you go from limit, like, oh man, I'm just starting out. I don't have enough of this. I don't have enough. It's going to happen. But when you go into like, hold on, I honor the solution that I may not see at the moment. You start activating something powerful in your brain. And what happens is now your brain's focused on it and you're like a magnet. And so you're actually going to be pulling the answers and you're getting connected to it. And things are going to start happening. So that's like the number one practice. But daily, without fail, you need to meditate. You need to breathe. You need to visualize. You need to write. You need gratitude, blessings, and philotimo, which I can get to in a second. But you can stack this up. So don't tell me you're busy, because I deal with plenty of very high level executives, also that are crazy busy, like help. Okay. You can do this like in 7 minutes and put the 7 things, stack it up, and just take a moment and just go to meditate. You don't have to even quiet your mind. The meditation can start with, okay, I honor the solution at the mate. It could be like a mantra, or whatever. It could be something like positive affirmations, and that could be your meditation. And then you can start visualizing what that is, connect to that energy, show gratitude to maybe your husband and wife that's, helping supporting your vision, for somebody single like me, I always give gratitude to all those that I have not met on the journey. I give gratitude to those that I have met on my journey. I honor their presence in my life. And again, this just takes a second, and then you bless people. And then you take another, again, this could be 7 minutes. And then you just bless everyone that's going to be in your day. Bless whoever's going to cross your path and provide answers, messages of answers for you. Because these are going to be like these messengers, they're going to be messages. And so these are going to be your answers to solutions. And you just visualize, and you're visualizing, and you can feel it. So you can feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not quite sure what this answer is, but I feel like I'm going to find it today. Or so with my clients, and Angeline knows this. When I go to sleep, this is what I do. I'm already grateful for the transformation and the opportunity that I get to be a witness in their journey. So every session is always a mind blower because I've already set it up that way.
Yeah. Wow.
It's like clean your vessel. So just think of it like you are the column of divine light. Clean your vessel. And again, what I just said, you could do it in 7 minutes. You're just stacking it up. You can stack up all these things, stack it 7 minutes. You can't tell me you don't have 7 minutes.
Yeah.
You can, you know what I mean? You could do this longer or throughout the day, but I'm just giving something that for sure it's like simple and there's no excuse why you can't do it. So I take the money excuse away and I take your energy excuse, like, oh, I don't have time, and energy for this. It's 7 minutes.
I think what it comes down to, Sophia, it's prioritizing, right? And that's why I love that you tapped into the science of things, because you have 2 types of people, right? I think here on the call today, we're all very spiritually connected, right? Spiritual beings. So for us, these type of conversations are very comfortable because we already identify and align with that vision. But there's also people out there, they live in the physical world. So meaning they can only... Yeah. They start believing when they see it. Yes. But I always say, start believing and you will see it, right? Those are 2 different approaches. So I really love that you touched upon the science of things, because you actually explained that by doing it, right, by visualizing intensely, you created triggers in emotion, and now it's sharpened. And I think I addressed it to Angeline earlier, right? It sharpens that part of the brain that is now holding a clear mental picture of what you're hoping to achieve, right? So whether it's an affirmation or whether you picture a certain dream life or something that you want to acquire or the person that you want to become, it triggers the emotion, unlocks the brain, and therefore you have a clear mental picture inside, they call it, right, your third eye right here, to see it in front of you. And Tony Robbins always says, what you focus on expands. And to me, that's exactly what it means, right? By looking inside, what you focus on then expands in the physical world. So you can back that up with real science. The science is on the neuropsychology, right? On a neuropsychological level. But basically what is lacking in a lot of companies and entrepreneurs is the spiritual side, is prioritizing looking inside you rather than to look for outside circumstances.
Yeah. Yes. And it's the honoring, love of honor. It's like when you focus on the benefit of others with nothing in return, that ignites it. So it's, again, this is also science, because the second powerful emotion that I didn't mention is giving. Okay. Yeah. So when you are practicing philotimo, when you are being a philotimo being, okay, that means it's a love of honor, but honor of it's the courage. It's the, I'm going to focus on the benefit of you. I'm serving you. It's the power of serving. Okay. So when you are giving your light, I call it your gift, whatever you want to call it. When you are giving, that means you are being it, you're living it. And when you're giving it, you literally, that part of your brain, it loves it. So this is science. You know, you're talking about also the reticular activating system, the RAS.
Yes.
So all of this is science. The brain is beyond powerful. And I've spoke to, just, you know, if people want any confirmation, let me tell you, I spoke to a very, very top neurologist, you know, in the country, at the Cleveland Clinic, Miami. And her exact words were, because I told her, people make up diseases in their body. And she said, yes, I see that all the time. She said, even as a doctor and a scientist, I can't even explain to you how powerful the mind is. We're still finding out. Wow. So even somebody who's on top of her game, you know, and then to give you another example, I'm very well known for stopping the progression of my father's dementia. I have medical evidence to it. Again, all the doctors involved with my dad's care, they call him a medical miracle. There's no book to it. And I did so much neuroscience, brain work, all of these techniques I did with my father. And it's when you see yourself and you stop labeling yourself and you stop, when I think it was Nelson, his name was, about limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
When you to stay positive just means take the list of the limiting beliefs and then make it into a positive. How is it going to serve you? Because if you're speaking something, a belief that's not empowering, you are harming yourself. And I don't mean harming in a scary way. I mean harming as in you will get physical disease.
Yeah.
You are going to, you know, create something in your body that you don't want. And in your life, things will get messy. And again, that's not a fear tactic. It's just like, that's just the way it is.
Yeah. No, 100%.
That's science. That's real science right there.
Beautiful. And Sophia, so as we're coming to the end, I know the time passes by so quickly. We only have an hour here on the show, but I want to address one more question, and I think this is a really powerful one by Maggie. And Maggie's actually asking, in our business, Sophia, we see that a lot of people, they come to us with big dreams and ambition when we first speak to them. Then you give them the opportunity to develop a business, to do something that they can be proud of, they can put their name behind. But then the actual process of business then becomes overwhelming and scary because it's something that they have never done before, right? It's the moment of overwhelm, and then they shut down and they quit. They throw in the towel in the ring. What would you say? Why, first of all, part one is, why does that happen? And part two, how can someone that is maybe going through that right now, how can they still keep a balance and push through anyway while their feeling is saying, I'm overwhelmed, I won't be able to do this, right? What would you say to those people?
Okay, so this happens all the time. Okay, so first of all, you have to understand science. Science is, the brain is, it's meant to protect you. So when you're telling somebody, oh, I'm going to help you make this big dream come true, the brain automatically is going to say, oh my gosh, she's full of crap. Don't listen. No, don't do it. That's the overwhelm. That's science. It's going to happen with everybody. I don't care who you are. That's just natural. So if you know that's going to happen, this is where I offer, then have something ready for you and your client. So I always tell my clients, hey, by the way, I know I'm telling you this, but here's what your brain's saying right now. And the clients are like, how do you know what's going on upstairs? Because I know the science of it.
Upstairs.
Upstairs.
Yeah.
So you tell somebody, hey, so I know what's going to happen. You've never done this before. So your brain's going to tell you right now, this is too much. I can't. And so when you actually give the person, you're actually inviting them to be truthful as to what's happening in their brain. Oh yeah, I do feel overwhelmed. Yeah, I just go, it's okay. This is like normal. So let them know this is what's normal. And then what you do is you let them know we're going to reverse engineer it. You need to become someone different to achieve that dream. So it starts breaking it down to, oh, wait a second. I'm not that person. It's okay, because I might have to tweak a few things to get past my overwhelm, or to get past the, I don't know, I've never done this before. And then I would say offer that person like a small step. Because one thing that people do is they sell the dream to somebody, but then they don't offer some small initial steps. You have to feel good in a moment. So if I have a big dream, I feel great. Oh my gosh, I feel amazing. This is what I can do for all these people. I can feel, I could feed a whole village of children. Okay, that makes me turn on. Woo, I'm on. Okay, now Sophia, do it. I'm going to feed a village of children. Okay, what's going to happen? I don't know. Okay. It's that moment you grab it and you go, okay, who do I need to become? Okay, maybe I need to find an investor. Maybe I need to find somebody that builds houses in a certain country. You see, you start, so with the entrepreneur, it's, think of it like that sense of you've never done it. So give your, whoever is you're selling the dream to, give them some, like a small blueprint. Here's some things to get you started. We all do this. See, when you give them tools, they go, oh, okay, I need to do these tools. I need to change my mindset. Okay, my mindset's not right. That's where I always start with entrepreneurs. If you're not willing to change your mindset, you're not going to be a successful entrepreneur, period. I've got research to back that up, and I have case studies, plenty of clients that they realized they were all about the dream and they got overwhelmed. I've never done this before. And then I said, but I gave you these simple steps. Is it a daily habit? If somebody's not willing to do daily habits, then, I mean, the dream's always going to be there. But as a coach for that client, give them some daily things, because if you give somebody some daily habits that actually make them feel good, it shifts that overwhelm to that loving state, that courage state. You're empowering, you're not harming. You're empowering. That is going to help them go, I want more now. They're going to call you and say, okay, I've done this for a week. I'm starting to see a little bit better. I've realized, I don't know how to do this. So what else do I do? Yeah. See, now they're going to turn into hungry clients, because that's what, if I don't know about you guys, but for me, if I'm not hungry, if I don't want it, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
So that's the first step, is to understand you have to be hungry to want to do something. It's just a human need.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So make it small steps, make it something small, give that to your client, because that will help them connect to the dream better instead of that big leap.
Wow. No, that makes absolute sense. And I think you broke that down phenomenally. I think this is something that people really can take action on. And this is something that we can definitely apply into our organization, because this is what we see all the time, Sophia. But it comes down, like you said, to the habits. And if you can reverse engineer, so if you have the goal in mind and then reverse engineer the little tiny action steps that becomes into a habit, you will be able to guide somebody along the way. And the more excited they get about it, the bigger and the faster they want to go. So I thought that was phenomenal advice. Angeline, would you help us close out? Because we are having way too much fun. We're unfortunately strapped by time, but would you please close us out? Because I know you always bring a surprise to the table
Oh,
to the community.
Sophia, she has a heart of gold. She has special something.
We love surprises here.
Yeah, you see, just maybe an hour with Sophia, we already feel transformation.
Yeah.
Right? That's a power that I haven't seen anybody deliver like the way she did. So Sophia, I know you have a gift for the community. Would you like to share with us? What's the gift that you're gonna blast to our audience? We have one winner.
Yes. So I have offered, a session with me, and this is something where you get to pick, because the good news is whatever you're looking for, there's a want, but I'm always going to know your needs. So you're going to start seeing like, okay, what's that question? And I'll help develop it into a way where you're going to have even a more like grander answer. Because again, I don't need to hear too much. I don't need to hear your story. I'm going to go in and get you a blueprint. Anything that you're needing, I'll get you the right habits. I'll get you a blueprint of what to do. And what it will set you up to whatever, again, whoever comes to me with this, whatever you're needing, I'll help you next level it. But I'm going to give you it's a recipe. So it's nothing for you to figure out. I'm going to give you a recipe. And it's a promise. It's a promise if you commit to it. And I make it simple. So that's the good news. Whatever I'm going to teach you and all the tools that I'll give you, it's going to be simple. You can use them and you can teach them. And I actually teach others, the tools. So the more you teach somebody, the more you actually learn better. That's why what you guys are doing right now, and you both, again, I honor you the time that you take to do this, because the more you teach, the more you elevate yourself. So it's all about serving. It's the power.
Beautiful. So 30 minutes, complimentary consultation with Sophia.
30, and I might go a little over, like I said.
You're so
30,
kind.
We'll start with the 30, and let's see what happens.
Great.
You might get a little extra lucky.
Wow.
You're certainly generous, Sophia, and I think this was such a powerful interview, because a lot of times we tend to think at business that it's like a static thing, right? Business is business, but what most people don't see is that the results in the outer world are really a reflection of the results in the time and the inner work that you put in. So I think you were able to clarify that for us, and we're really appreciative of all the amazing value that you gave. And I see all the we have so many more questions that we haven't even gotten to. So just to close us out, Sophia, how can people, besides, we're going to choose a winner here today, but besides, how can people follow you on this journey for people that are seeking to be more spiritually aligned with their business and to really unlock that full potential? How can people get connected with you? Where can they find you?
Well, right now I have my Facebook page, Sophia J Stavron. I'm going to activate a new Facebook page.
Oh, all right.
I was waiting.
There you go. You came prepared. I love it.
Living Filotimo. Okay, it's going to be. I'm going to have a website and things. When it comes to social media, I have not been like the biggest fan, but of course, with COVID and everything, I haven't had the bandwidth because I've been taking care of my parents. So now I know that I need to be more social, so I will be. But at least you're going to know that this is going to come up. But anybody that has questions, you can DM me, on Facebook, just find me, friend me, or message me the questions. I'll be happy to answer them, off interview here.
Yeah.
And then my website is sophiastavron.com. Again, I need to update, but you can always email me, sophia@sophiastavron.com, and just reference this, that this is where, you've come from. This is how you know me, and I can answer and connect. Because that's one thing, social media, I'm really working on right now, because I need to embrace. See, everybody has to know this. You need to embrace your journey, embrace it, and do things that are uncomfortable. Social media is uncomfortable. I don't want to spend too much time with it, but I'm going to make it happen. And so
beautiful.
There's no to me.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us here today. I want to thank Angeline, our phenomenal co-host, and sharing, both of you two power ladies, your stories. I thought this was remarkable, guys. I hope our audiences, you took tremendous value from this. There you have it. how to unlock your full potential and how to live the life that you were meant to live. Sophia, thank you so much. Angeline, I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
And I hope we can do this again in the near future, Sophia, and keep track of the progress. Okay? But in the meantime, have a phenomenal Thursday, guys. And I will see you back when another phenomenal guest next Thursday, same time, same place, and here on the Entrepreneur Speaker Series. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy.
Bye, Sophia. Thank you, Angeline. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.